Alert? Alert? Wait, is that the Throne of Skulls emergency army prep siren? I haven't heard that before, I must say. But does that mean plans have drastically changed because I'm an avid hobbyist who can only stick with one project for as long as I don't have to buy new toys? Surely not. Or yes. That was a bit overdramatic, wasn't it? Hi guys, welcome back to Planet Mithril. My name is Mithril, and you're joining me as I document my progress towards the Middle-earth strategy battle game Throne of Skulls 2024. So yes, as you have probably gathered from that rather overdramatic intro, there has been some updates and some changes to my potential Throne of Skulls list. I can't talk. It's very late. I can't remember where I left off last time in episode 2 of my blog series here, but I believe I was trying to decide between a list with Saruman and a list without Saruman. And I outlined some ideas for my board, and we had 2 months, probably over 2 months, to get everything ready and done. And do we only have a month left? Yes. Do I have any updates to the army? Oh, yes. Do any of these require drastic changes to the board or the army? Kinda. As you guys know, the list last time was revolving around the Saruman Grima, standing in the Tower of Orthanc, overlooking the Sea of Urukai before they set out to march upon Helm's Deep. I'm still sticking with that theme. That is still idea numero uno, 100%. And I know I was very keen on taking the Dunlendings, which I definitely spent some money on. I kind of had everything sort of planned out. As you can see from my expert sketch here, the Tower of Orthanc in the centre at the back of the board, and the army massing around it, leading out across all the pits and all the wooden structures. Now, as I say, my army list is still currently Isengard, and as long as I don't get more distracted, I'm looking at you, Arnor models. You distracted me, and I blame you. In fact, no, I blame Games Workshop for my procrastination, because you shouldn't release such beautiful models and expect me to be able to continue with whatever it is I'm doing on a daily basis. It's just not feasible. I can't. I don't have that kind of willpower. Do better. Help me! But the list has evolved somewhat, and it has evolved somewhat mainly due to one person. There's one person I would attribute this blame to. One person who is solely responsible for just throwing all the spanners into my list preparations. You know him. You love him. He is yet to win a scenario in Quest of the Ringbearer. Dear old Jeb. That face right there. That one. Now I love Jeb to pieces. I do. I really, really do. He's a brother to me. Always will be. He's family. He's uncle to my daughter. But sometimes I really hate him. Okay, some context here. There is a degree of peer pressure when it comes to our group of friends making armies of Throne of Skulls. It usually revolves around why your bow's not strung, Tom, or why doesn't everything have free hand on it, Tom. In fact, most of the peer pressure seems to be revolved around me. But there's a healthy bit of chai-hiking and a healthy bit of teasing about people's lists. And when I was asking for feedback with Jeb and Sam, Jeb, in his infinite wisdom, decides to turn around and say, how many pikemen could you get in a 1,000-point list? Just pikemen. Note, nothing else. Just captains and pikemen. So this is where the conundrum has come, because initially I shot down this idea. You get 10 pikemen in a box, and with the scene I'm going to be doing, it's going to be all the upright pikemen, right? So, and you get 6 of those in a box, and it's 28, 30 quid for a box? So in the list, you could get about 70-something pikemen. And I shot that down. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to bow to peer pressure. I'm happy with my army. We're going to work out. I've got the board planned. Everything's sorted. I've got more or less everything I need. Don't have to spend any money. But then I just kind of got to thinking. And it went on. And on. And on. And I hadn't started painting anything else. You know. And this is why I'm now starting prep again with a month to go rather than the 2 and a bit months we had. And those lovely Dunlin that I was so very excited to paint, get all those freehand on, have kind of unfortunately fallen by the wayside. The list proposals now stand as thus. List number 1 consists of the captain and the leader each have warbands which consist of 17 upright pikemen and 1 banner each. Now, for the purpose of the clarity, the Assault 1 Helm's Deep Legendary Legion lets you increase all hero models warbands by a value of 6. So the captains, whereas they can usually have 12 models in their warband, they can actually have 18. It's a way of maximising the amount of heroics you can get in an Isengard list, which was the goal for seeing how many pikemen we could get in a list. There is a separate captain who has just 12 pikes. I of course have the Siege Ballista because it's a lovely, beautiful focal piece. And I have a Shaman who has 6 Berserkers and 6 Crossbows. Now this list I'm leaning towards mainly because money. It's so many pikemen. I'm leaning a little bit more towards this because you've got a little bit of the differentiation of just the Berserkers and the Crossbowmen, and you've got the Siege Ballista, a couple of focal points within the army. The second list that I've come up with, or that we came up with, well, I've adapted it slightly because I wanted, if I'm doing large pikeman blocks, I want there to be a banner in the middle of each one. And I'm not talking like the little banners for Isengard. I'm talking about the big, like Isengard command pack banners, the big flags, the dudes on the rocks, these dudes right here, these guys, or these guys, whichever way they are stunning. And I love those flags so much. But the next list is, it's 3 Uruk-hai captains, 1 Uruk-hai leader, again operating under the Legendary Legion. All with shields, and there are 2 warbands, with 17 pikemen and 2 banner bearers, and there are 2 warbands with 15 pikemen and 2 banner bearers. I think that should be 14 pikemen and 2 banner bearers, because it should be 15 in total. Like a math. That's where I kind of am now, and against my better judgment, and of course, I'm going to start devolving to the themey armies, because we all know theme is key. It's something I always try and and trump on the channel, but that is kind of where I'm at now. I'm kind of at the point of like, I really kind of like the idea. And the more I think of that swooping shot through the crowds outside of Orthanc, the more I think, yeah, you know what, that would look really cool. It's gonna win 0 games, but that's not the point of Throne of Skulls. The point of Throne of Skulls is it themey? Is it cool? Are you gonna have fun? So of course, I'm not just going to stop at reevaluating the army. I'm going to, reevaluate the board as well. And on this, I had a little bit of a reflection, thinking the circular board was only really relevant if I was going to be building the wall around the outside of Isengard. And I feel like that's not practically relevant or practically feasible because it stops you kind of seeing the army. So what's probably going to happen is it's going to be on a 2 by 2 foot square board now. We're still going to build the Tower of Orthanc, but again, to maximise space, and because these lists have got more models in than the previous list with Saruman, what we're probably going to do is end up kind of just building half of the Tower of Orthanc and having it so that it comes onto the board, so like kind of bifurcates the tower halfway, and you've got Saruman's balcony at the edge of the board, looking out over the board as the Uruks march off in front of him. The reason for doing this is as I was kind of working out more building the whole Tower of Isengard. Obviously, time is a factor now because I've just procrastinated everything away through Arnor and buying an unholy amount of Star Wars Unlimited. But also, by building the 4 prongs of Isengard, there's going to be a lot of wasted space on the board, and it's not going to be a small structure. So to be able to make it look kind of to scale and look really good and really effective, I'm going to have to kind of overbuild or overcompensate the size of the board. I'm going to end up with this massive circular piece of wood with a massive tower on it, which is just super impractical. And with it being that big and circular, there's nowhere to store it. And transporting it is going to be a thing as well. And by doing a bifurcated Tower of Isengard, segmented out so it can be collapsed into sections for ease of transport, we don't end up with the wasted space around the back of the tower and everything's kind of pushing forwards. We're still going to do the pits, there's still going to be smoke effect, there's still going to be the wooden contraptions and maybe the water wheel and bits and bobs, as Isengard was at the time of marching out. And I've got a couple of extra ideas which I'm going to keep to myself for now because they're little fun things I'm going to set myself as challenges throughout the weekend. But that's more looking at kind of how more feasible the board's going to look. And I haven't quite mathed out the pikeman blocks for the, what have I called it, Pikes for Days list, which is the 2 lots of 18 and 2 lots of 15 with all banners, in regard to how the blocks work out. But I know that with the first army, with the 2 blocks of 18 and 1 block of 12, I can kind of have 3 nice blocks of 12 pikes and a smattering of crossbows, smattering of berserkers, and the siege ballista sitting kind of at the back, and all the shamans and captains at the front. With Saruman, who I've still, and this has also come on the heels of me painting the Saruman on foot model as well, assuming I was taking him, which now obviously I'm Probably clearly not. But he'll be in the tower on the balcony with Greenlight overlooking. He'll still be on the board, but he'll be more of an overseer into the beautiful Uriki chaos, which has been foisted upon me, but not entirely unwelcome. So how much do I have left to paint if I was to go down this route? Now, again, as I said, I'm kind of leaning towards the first list, mainly because you've got that little splash of colour with the Berserkers. I just feel like, as cool as it would be, unless you guys really want to see a whole list of all pikemen, like, sound off in the comments if you do. Let me know. Like, seriously, like, if there's enough call for it, I will do it. But yeah. So I've been painting Uruk-hai. I've been painting them by the foursome. I've got like 4 here on my table already. Like, still, I have got 36 Uruk-hai upward pikemen painted, ready to go. I've got the 2 big banners that were planned for the first list already done. I have only got to paint another 10 Uruk-hai pikemen, I think, if I'm mathing that right, and a couple of crossbowmen, one berserker, and finish my shaman, and then the army is done. If I was to do the other list, I still have to get 1 banner, and I have to paint significantly more pikemen, and then get hold of significantly more pikemen. I think I've got 1 more box sitting somewhere in that mass of chaos back there. It's an absolute tip back here at the moment, and there is good reason for that, but that is not for this video. Yeah, I've got 1 box sitting over there. I've got the other banner sitting over there unbuilt, and I've got 2 upward pikes. So I have 48 upward pikes out of a potential 64. Oh, that's not a fun number. So 42, 64. That means I'm going to have to buy another. Oh, that's like another 22 pikes. Oh boy, that's not fun. And 2 more banners, 1 more banner. Please don't ask for this list. Please. But yes, I'm going to go shopping for supplies to get everything we need to build Isengard. But I wanted to do another little update to the blog series and let you guys know that plans are changing and plans are continuously changing, and I am just a butterfly when it comes to all my hobby. And it's fun to document this journey and kind of look back and be like, this was mad. Why did you do this? What is wrong? But it's all here, public record. You can all laugh at me for as long as you want. And I suppose I always have the fallback of if things get completely snooker-loopy, I can just fall back on good old Minas Tirith because Gondor for life, am I right? I'm super excited. I'm also super terrified. And I'm super excited to get this board and this army done. I've wanted to take full Uruk-hai to a tournament for a long time, and this is now the chance that I've got to finally do it. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Jeb, you know I love you, all right? It's only ever fun. But also, why? Pikes for days. When we get to building Isengard, I will try and update you as much as I can and film as much as I can, because I know that creating the terrain is a fun little, fun thing, visual thing for you guys to be able to see. I appreciate this is probably a little bit more of a ranty video than it is normally when it comes to these blog series. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I've got a big update coming for the Future Planet Mithril as well, so keep an eye out for that coming very soon. And there'll be another painting tutorial dropping, if not this week, early next week. So take care, guys, and as always, happy hobbying. Bye, guys.